going on, everyone? Welcome back to another video. If you don't know who I am, that means you're new. I'm Mark. Let's go with y'all. Go check out my other videos. Check them out. Check them out. And I don't know if you can tell, but I'm in a pretty good mood about this video. And one of the reasons why I'm, in a pretty good mood here is due to the simple fact that, man, do I love it when the numbers are always on my side. I love it. I love it. So let's get right into it. Welcome back to another episode of Debunking Anti Gunners. You read the title, you saw the thumbnail. Let's get right into it. On this episode of Debunking Anti Gunners, firearms are the leading cause of death among children. No, they're not. No, they're not. It's not even close. But we're gonna talk about the numbers. We're gonna break them down a little bit. We're gonna talk about some of the discrepancies, some of the issues with the numbers that are currently being posted, and where this myth came from, and why these anti-gunners keep using it to push their political agenda. So let's get into it. For starters, we're going to talk about firearm deaths between children aged 0 to 11, and this was in the year 2023. These anti-gunners especially love saying that gun violence is rising each year, day by day. It's rising. More and more people are getting shot and killed, as if it's some big pandemic here, but it's truthfully not. So, throughout the entirety of 2023, children aged 0 to 11, 154 total were killed. 154 total. Now, some of y'all might think, okay, well, that's a very, very small number. I fail to see how that's the leading cause of death of children. And you're right to think that, because even when I add on the extra numbers that I'm about to add on here, it's still not the leading cause of death among children. So 154 aged 0 to 11 were killed by firearms. Very unfortunate, very sad, and I do pray for those who have lost their children due to gun violence. And of course, I'm not sitting here saying that, gun violence is a good thing. No one is. Now, moving on, this is where the numbers are going to get a bit more interesting. Aged 11 to 17, 752 killed. Now, some of y'all might be wondering, oh, well, why could that be? Is there any particular reason why that is? Does anyone know? Well, let's see here. Around the ages between 11 to 17 is usually when, as people in my area would call it, when they would get put on. People that age, generally speaking, especially in areas where you're finding high gun violence, are joining gangs. They are committing crimes. They are getting themselves in trouble that ultimately will result in them getting shot at or being shot and killed. Some of y'all might try to argue, oh, no, that's not the truth. That's not how it is at all. If you want to argue that that's not how it is at all, and that there are no gangs in these areas where gun violence is very prevalent, there's no issue with that, then you explain to me why we see such a correlation of higher gun deaths among minors aged 11 to 17, typically the age where people or teenagers, kids in general, start getting to very, very bad activities. I myself was included in those teenagers who got themselves into stuff they shouldn't have. It's not like I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm not too far off from being a teenager, guys. I'm 23. All right. It's not like me being a teenager was so long ago that none of us can remember it. I remember being a teenager very vividly. I was stupid, bro. I was so dumb as a teenager. It's not even a joke. And even right now, I'm probably going to look at myself 5 years down the line and be like, wow, I was a dumb 23-year-old. You know what I mean? But my whole point is that during those ages, that's when kids act up. That's when the little jits act up. They are either getting put on with gangs or getting put on with drugs or doing something they shouldn't be doing. And sometimes, unfortunately, it leads them down a path that results in them being shot and killed. This is why it's extremely important to keep your children down the right path, guys. I can't believe I'm having to say this as a 23-year-old, but it's very important to keep your children down the right path so they don't end up one of these statistics that I have written down here. Now, when you do the math, you're adding them both together because that is the age range of a child, a minor, 0 to 17. Once you're past 17 and you're 18, you're an adult. But the total number for the entire year of 2023 of children aged 0 to 17 that were killed was 906. 906, because you got 752 plus 154, 906. Not even 1,000 children. Now, I'm aware 906 children killed by gun violence is 906 more children killed by gun violence than we would prefer in our world. Of course, no one's denying that. Now, my real question that I have here, realistically speaking, and this is what, according to these, excuse me, according to the National Gun Violence Archive, these are their numbers, not mine. These are the children that were killed by gun violence. Now, I'm not sure if they're including suicides in there. I'm not, oh, excuse me. Sorry, YouTube. I don't care at this point. I'm not sure if they're including, people going to the water park and jumping down the sewer slide, if you will. However, what I can say is, even if not, that's still not relatively a high number. Now, 906. Remember that number, 906. I will go back to 2022. Now, I'm sure some of y'all are going to be arguing, oh, well, why don't you use the car crash statistics from 2023? Well, truth be told, 2022 just came up first, and in the end, the numbers have not dropped that much anyways. I can tell you that right now without needing to look. I can tell you for a fact that car crash fatalities, which is what I'm about to read off, have not dropped that much lower between 2022 and 2023, especially among children. Now, this is the funny thing too, because I'm not even going to be able to give you guys the whole number. Why am I not going to be able to give you the whole number? Because these people who report statistics are such lying, wicked dogs. They are liars. And here's why I say that. They don't want to give the full statistic. They don't want to, and you're going to see exactly why. The only statistic for minors that came up for car crash accidents were aged 14 and younger. 14 and younger. So you're saying you couldn't keep track of all the car crashes that were caused by reckless teens driving down the road fast to impress their friends, their girlfriend, either they're on drugs, whatever it is, they're committing crimes, whatever it could be. You're telling me you couldn't keep track of those car crashes of the minors who actually can drive, but you're going to keep a tally of the fatalities of the ones who can't legally drive. They are much too young to do so. Ages 14 and younger in the year of 2022, we had 1,129 fatalities due to car crashes. 1,129, that's just aged 14 and younger. I'm willing to put my money on it. If we did 15 to 17, that number doubles. I put my money on it. I have no problem saying this. That, just the fact that we're not even including everybody here that is a minor in that case, is despicable in my opinion. The fact that people are trying to hide that extra bit of info is pretty despicable. But what's even more despicable is the fact that, once again, you can see there's a clear winner here in what the number is. Children aged 0 to 17, there have been 906 killed by gun violence. That's in the year of 2023. In the year of 2022, aged 14 and younger, 1,129 were killed in car crashes. You're going to sit here and really try to lie and say that firearms are the leading cause of death among children. If you're going to sit here and push that lie, you are despicable. You are truthfully a disgrace to the word truth. The fact that people sit here and push this lie without even looking at the actual numbers themselves. And then here's even the funny part, right? Some people, they might think they're looking at the numbers. They might. There are certain, companies like the NIHCM, which I don't remember exactly what the M stands for the life of me, but I know the NICH is like National Institute of Healthcare. So it's essentially a bunch of doctors and nurses. I'm not going to sit here and put the quotes, actually. Let me rephrase that. A bunch of doctors and nurses, because I don't know if their credentials are true or not. But companies like the NIHCM, they have brainwashed people. And why so? Because they are a very politically motivated organization, whether they want to admit it or not. And here's why I say that. The numbers that people are oftentimes quoting nowadays is from the NIHCM. Those are numbers that, yes, will say higher than, car crash statistics, which, by the way, I got my car crash numbers strictly off the website Crash Statistics, which is a government-owned website about car crash statistics. So if you want to argue with me, you got to argue with the government. If you want to argue with me about the numbers I pulled up for gun violence, you got to argue with the Gun Violence Archive, not with me. Moving on, the NIHCM has put some completely overblown number. It was such a, and here's the thing, I'm not even saying that this number is false. However, what I am saying is that it has nothing to do with children, as the number they put, let's say hypothetically, all right, because I'm going to be nice here and hypothetically say it was 2,000, even though I'm pretty sure it was more than that. The numbers they included people aged 18 and 19. They're not children. They are far from it. They can be in county jail with adults. They can be sentenced to life in prison with adults. They can vote. They can go out to war. They are not children. They are adults. Take those numbers off. Or are you really just too afraid to? Because in the end, I have a great feeling that, once again, we see such an uprising in firearm-related deaths among, we'll say, children, but children, teenagers, We see it among children aged 11 to 17. We see such a huge uprising. I wonder where that line cuts off. I wonder if it's 14 to 17, if we're going to see that same pretty much amount, and it's just going to low a little bit. It leaves a lot of questions that are left unanswered, but in the end, you have to sit there and use common sense here. If for the entirety of 2023, the children aged 0 to 17 amounted to less than 1,000. However, for the entirety of 2022, the deaths of children from car crash accidents aged 14 and younger, not even 17, but 14 and younger, is still higher. Now, if you want to sit here and add 15, 16, 17-year-olds into this number, and we can see what the real number is, then we'll have an actual understanding of how little gun violence is an issue compared to car crashes are for children. Now, here's the thing. I'm not the person who's saying, oh, yeah, let's not drive. Well, I'm advocating for people to not drive. No, I'm advocating for people to mind their own business. That's what I'm saying. What I'm advocating for is for these anti-gunners to stop lying, trying to push a political agenda to take our firearms and take our Second Amendment right away, all because they want to sit here and try to tug at people's heartstrings, make people feel bad. But truth of the matter is that, one, if you're like me, you don't let anybody make you feel bad unless you want them to. That's first off. I'm sorry, but that's one of the great things when you grow up learning that you shouldn't feel shame is, and by the way, I'm not saying don't feel shame. I hope you guys understand the aspect of what I'm saying. When I say don't feel shame. But growing up being told to not be shameful of how you feel about certain topics, hearing stuff like this, it really pisses me off. I have no problem pissing everyone off too. I have no issue with it. There's really nothing anybody can say that's going to make me feel embarrassed about the fact that y'all are liars. Sorry, there's no other way around it. Oh my goodness, that is such a man, and let's be 100% realistic here. To add in the ages 18 and 19 is just such a bold-faced lie to add the word children after that. At least be honest with yourselves and say, here are the gun deaths of people under the age of 20. Something like that. Don't sit here and put children in front of it. You're going to sit here and push a political agenda to lie to try to make people feel bad, saying, oh, well, you don't care about kids. Bro, I don't care if you think I don't care about kids, dog. I promise you, I don't care if you think that. Everyone in the planet can truthfully think that I hate children. You know why I don't care? Because I know what's in my heart. My wife knows what's in my heart, and the Lord knows what's in my heart, and that's what matters most. I'm not concerned about none of that. How about you stop trying to use emotional manipulation to try to make people believe into lies? How about you actually do the research and understand what the truth of the matter of the Second Amendment is, that it's not as big of a threat as these anti-gunners love trying to make it seem. But look, I can tell I'm definitely about to get onto a rant here, so I'm going to stop myself right now. With that being said, I think that about wraps it up for this video. Those numbers are, they say more than needs to be said, and these anti-gunners really don't like that. But with that being said, y'all make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share, hit that bell. When you hit that bell, hit all. And whether or not you agree with me about these numbers, you really don't have a choice, because these are numbers that are not reported by me, but by organizations that some of these anti-gunners even quote. They even quote some of these organizations thinking that is going to make an argument against the Second Amendment, but all it does is make an argument against their argument against the Second Amendment. With that being said, though, y'all make sure to check out all my other videos. Y'all make sure to stay legal, stay safe, stay dangerous. Have a good one, y'all. Peace.